Hi and welcome to Expondo Gastro Experts. Today we'll be talking about the most important thing, the car for your truck, for your food truck. My name is Michał Orłowski. Let's have a look. Alright, so first, as always, let me remind you this program is being streamed live, so please use our live chat to let us know what you think, ask questions. The more you do so, the better we will cover the subject, which today is quite interesting. We'll be talking about the car for your food truck. So this is actually what makes it to a food truck. So as all things in life, everything depends on your budget. So the most affordable option is to rent a vehicle from a company that offers ready built vehicles as food trucks, and you can just rent it for a few months and just use it. Well, it's a very affordable option. However, it has some disadvantages and advantages, of course. So first, of course, is you take it only for the time period you need, and afterwards you just give it back. Everything is already pre-done, so you don't need to invest anything. You don't need to, design anything. You just take it as it is. Sometimes you can do small changes to the food truck itself. To the equipment, but generally they all come totally equipped and ready to be used. However, when you do so, you are basically resigning of all the marketing and everything, and you cannot pick and choose the bits and pieces of your branding, of your marketing strategy. So of course you can establish a fan page on Facebook and do something with the image that you already have, but generally there's no time for it. So when you pick it up, off you go and you start selling. It's a great thing to prepare for the business and see how it goes and what you actually need, and but then again, the setup is not yours, it's not your design, and you have to live with it. So basically, if you do have funds, if you do have the money, do not save on the vehicle. Do not try to buy as cheap as possible, because generally within the season you want to visit as many places as you can. And once you stocked up your fridges, once you leave your region in order to go somewhere else, you already invest a lot of money. When the van breaks down, it's not only the repairs, it's also the cost of not being somewhere and selling, and of course the wastage, because if you haven't sold it, within 2 or 3 days it will go off. So basically it's quite risky business. It needs to run. So the best thing you can do, if you have the funds, just buy a new one. There's a lot of companies specializing in designing food trucks and building food trucks from ground up. They use brand new cars, and everything inside in the food truck is brand new and has a certain guarantee, and well, you're pretty much safe. Whenever something breaks, you just can call them up and say, all right, and this part needs replacing or repairing, and they will do that. So that's quite an expensive option, but then again, it's the safest option. However, the most popular option is to buy a used van. The only thing you have to look at, actually there's a couple. So first thing, it doesn't need to be brand new, as I said. It can be a used car. Between around 10 years is probably the best time for value for money thing. You need to check the efficiency over there. Everything is in proper shape and condition. As I said, you don't want to be stranded in the middle of the road with your food and everything inside, and not make it onto a particular event that you are going for. So 10 years is probably the best time to buy it, because younger cars will be far more expensive, and older cars will be already quite risky. There's a prone to damage, I guess. All right, so the most popular examples of cars that you can get, the best bases are Fiat Ducato, the Volkswagen C4 or T4, the Mercedes Benz, the Peugeot Boxer, or the Citroën Jumper, or Ford Transit. So these are basically the best cars for it. What you have to look at it, because if you don't want to go for a standard brand, if it's part of your image to go for an older vintage car or something, what you have to look at is the construction. The best for food trucks are frame constructions, because they're more durable, and remember, the equipment that you put inside also has a certain weight, so the frame will support it. Self-supporting constructions are probably not the best ones for it unless they're not driving much. But then again, remember, you're putting a lot of weight into the car. So that's what I said about the elements. So basically, if you combine all the weights of all the equipment that you need inside, and trust me, those grills, they weigh quite a lot, they will burden that frame by quite a lot. All right, so basically what they need to have, they need to be big enough. That's why what you're looking at are vans or you know, proper trucks. Because if you think about it, just, you know, sanitary installations, water, gas, electricity, something to produce the generator to generate electricity, because you're probably better off having that in your food truck as well. If you have a, you know, standard car, it's definitely not enough space, so they need to be prolonged or extended. All right. What's important? A car previously adapted for gastronomical use for catering services in the European Union just needs registering. Probably the health department needs to look at it as well, but if it's been once approved, it will be probably approved again, because like, if you have a certificate from previous owner, it will probably be extended as well. The car itself, if you're building a car from ground up, as in you bought a base, and you're changing any element of the construction, it needs to go through proper institutions as well. It needs to be checked and approved for use on public roads. So every country has its, you know, excuse me, has its own institutions for it. It's like a road institution or whatever, so you need to get that approved. That's very important. And of course, if you're building from ground up, you need to have the health inspector come in and check whether you have all the, you know, all the stuff, all the necessary stuff in it. What else is to be remembered? So let's say you have a normal car that you're driving with a normal license. If you're getting a van, you usually are able to drive it with the same license. However, in most European countries, it's the weight that counts. And I'm back to the weight of equipment. If you think about it, it's fridges, it's shelves, it's you know, cooking equipment, and all the stuff, sanitary installation, it all weighs a lot. So it can be that the overall food truck weight exceeds the 3.5 tons, and usually in most of the countries that's the limit for a normal driving license. All right, I see questions coming in, so let's switch to Q&A mode. All right, question from Bobby. I plan to build a food truck. Where to find companies specializing in construction, and what costs should be taken into account? All right. Nowadays, the food truck business is quite a popular one. So there's a lot of companies specializing in building food trucks, or constructing or redesigning food trucks. They're buying old ones, refurbishing and renewing. So I cannot name any particular companies, but trust me, in every larger city there's at least 1 or 2 companies specializing in such business. So there's no problem on finding one. If it comes to costs, if you're looking at a van, of course that depends on each country individually, but generally if you think about a van, it's about a few grand, like in euros it's about 2,000–3,000 euros for a used 10-year-old van, sometimes more, and it's usually around 10–15,000 euros to equip it properly for the design and everything, it's a couple of grand on top. So as you can see, it's not as much as a normal restaurant, but then again, you need all the appliances a normal restaurant has. So if you go on any website with catering equipment, you can add up the things that you need, add up installation costs, worker costs. It's all individual, so I cannot name a particular price, but that's probably roughly the area you're looking at. Shy Shack is asking, how fast should my food truck be? Well, there's actually no limit to how fast a food truck should be. At least I don't know of any limit. However, a food truck is not a racer, right? So just to be on public roads, it needs to make a minimum and a maximum, the minimum velocity. But then again, please remember, when you're driving, you are having equipment in this car. Some of the equipment will be standing free, so what I'm trying to say. It's not a racing car, so it shouldn't be going too fast. It's better slow, but get to the destination rather than go fast and arrive in the destination, or not to arrive in the destination. Remember, you're quite heavy, you're having a lot of stuff. Besides, if you're driving too fast or it's too shaky, some of your items in the fridges can get spoiled. The fridges do not like being shaken at all, or shaken. So there's no maximum limit for food trucks. Unless you exceed the 3.5 ton weight, then of course normal laws apply as to trucks. So I believe it's 90 kilometers an hour. All right, back by Andrew. How I can make my food truck to stand out from a crowd? All right, we've been through that, but in regards to cars, what I can recommend, I've seen people do it, I've said it many times before, food trucks are pretty much an art form. It's a free form of restaurant business. So everything goes, everything is allowed. And the more you do with your image and the more you do with your food truck, the better. The more you can differentiate yourself from the crowd. So I've seen great vintage cars, like let's say American Chevys, redesigned to be a food truck. It draws attention. It's fantastic because, bright red with all the chromes and everything. Fantastic, Hemi engine inside. So they didn't need any music or anything. You can just listen to the sound of the engine roaring, that's great. Also, what you can do, you can mask up the whole thing, because the car is not really important unless it's really vintage and it's a looker, all right? So if you're driving a Fiat Ducato or a Ford Transit, all right, that is not a prestigious brand as in for food trucks, all right? It's a great delivery car, but all right, let's be honest, it's like any other delivery car in the city. You can mask it up, you can just cover it with something. Dumb and Dumber, all right? You don't know what car it is, but as soon as I mentioned Dumb and Dumber, you remember that dog thing car with ears flapping and tail and everything. That's what you want to get, all right? So you want to cover it completely, or you want to paint it up completely, or do whatever. If it comes to the car itself, as I said, you can go for a really fine brand or something, a model that is, a cult model. Everyone knows it, like they said, Chevy. All right, Milk and John Broom 90. Can Expondo help me with building ice cream van? Well, I believe equipment-wise, it can. If you have any questions in regard to equipment or anything, just write us an email with what you expect, and well, we'll just pass it on to whoever is responsible, and we try to help you out or give you an advice on equipment. Anyway, all right. So I see there's no more questions coming in. If there's something that you still need to know about cars, food trucks, I strongly encourage you to use that email address below. write me. Everything goes to my personal inbox. I try to answer all the emails individually. If there's more to a particular topic, I'll try to make another show out of it. All right. So thanks again for watching. Thank you very much for your participation and your questions, and I hope I see you next time.